And we are live from the Anthill. Coach Chris here with you. Got some more esports action. Thanks to those of you that were just with us in the in the Fortnite National Championship. And we are now headed into the PCL Championship for our Marvel Rivals team. Got Izzy in the booth. Well, the virtual booth. How you doing, Izzy?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. Very excited for this game this week. I've been looking forward to it pretty much since our last semifinal game against Gustavus. How are you feeling about this game?
I'm very very interested to see how we play. The other team is got some players on the squad, so I'd like to think that we can pull together and have a good matchup. As you can see, like rank to rank here, it's not going to be an easy one right out the gate to get the victory. But Fire Ants got to do what they got to do to get the W and kind of go from there.
Yeah, for sure. And we played Texas A&M earlier this season, and I believe we went 3-0, but things always change, and especially since a couple new updates that have happened since the last time we played them, could really turn the tide here. So I always like to say going into the first round, bans and picks can kind of be very off because the other team who haven't played yet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of it is going off of like what you previously know about a team, and on top of that, you know, things you just naturally hate. Some teams just hate certain characters, so I guess we'll see a lot of that. But straight out the gate here, we are banning Invisible Woman. Strong move against Sumter here. I can't even lie. Invisible Woman's a core part of Sumter's team. Looks like we're going straight back and banning Penny here. I don't think Penny is necessarily too bad for Sumter in any way. I just think that Penny can be pretty annoying.
Right.
Looks like they're going to really have to rely heavily on their Gambit, maybe Cloak and Dagger, or Gambit and Loki here.
And I will say, you are breaking up a little bit, Chet, but I think that is possibly my connection coming up kind of weird. So we're going to try to work on sounds and kinks as we go through tonight, everybody,
100%.
but just bear with us on that. But you're spot on with everything you were saying. This is going to be interesting. Again, like this team is no slouch. As we go through that and you see the rest of those pick bands, let me see if I can pull up our matchup with them and how that went earlier in the season.
Oh yeah, totally let me know if my audio is cutting out. We're kind of on a different setup than I normally talk on here, so we will see. Nothing incredibly surprising from either team. I'm a little interested by the Moon Knight ban from A&M. I think Moon Knight has posed to be a little bit of a challenge for Sumter, sometimes kind of just getting caught in certain things. A little bit like here or there with Moon Knight, but again, I'm really liking the Gambit and the Elsa save for Ume, and then obviously for Favorbi later. I think it's going to be a very strong matchup if they have those two on the team as well.
Right, and getting the information here, it does look like the Fire Ants won 3-0 during the regular season, but again, that doesn't mean anything. Obviously, Texas A&M, this is, can't remember what campus that was, but they are going up against the Fire Ants for the second time, and you know, both teams have grown since the third week of the season, so there's lots of action to be played out here. Gonna be
100%.
very interesting to see how it plays.
I think we'll just have to see. I think the bans and picks are very strong for both teams. I'm a little interested to see how Tank Deadpool will really work out here. I know he's pretty good. Deadpool in itself is a decent character, but Sumter pretty much has gone against a couple Deadpool players before and has seen that they sort of just squash any Deadpool type of thing. So it'll be interested to see if A&M chooses to continue to play that. Considering it was one of their saves.
Right.
But it always can be something that they can fall back on if this first round does not play out the way they want to.
That's right. And I don't know if you want to maybe, while we're doing this countdown, maybe make any little adjustments just in case there might be a little clipping on your side.
Yeah, perfect. Let me make some adjustments then.
With the check-in, check-out. Could still be me, but just want to verify.
It's probably my mic.
And here we go. Fire Ants making their way I like this Storm. I always like seeing Storm from Poppy. Ume gonna be on his main at the moment. See if the Fire Ants can get a pick here early. They almost get the thing down, but he does get picked up. Just battling on point now. Seems like first team that's gonna get picked is gonna maybe win this fight. Let's see. Fire Ants got a lot low, but they do get one down. That is the tank on the front line.
Good push in here. Hopefully my mic is just the slightest bit better. If not, we can try and go up to changing something again.
Oh, 2 Fire Ants go down.
I don't think King Rexel can really hold on here. It's really have to wait to push in with Favorbulator. Just because with 2 heavy tanks, just Cloak and Dagger is not enough to get a load for that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they play this out. That is a huge ban from Invisible Woman. Man, Ume goes down.
Go down there.
Yeah, that's not good at all from the Fire Ants.
It might just take some adjustment here from the Fire Ants just to sort of figure out how they want to move into this next part of the round. But we haven't really seen Sumter go up against, a Squirrel Girl or a Punisher. I just think it's a very interesting team comp that they're going up against that they really haven't had to figure out just yet. Especially with something that has a huge damage output like Squirrel Girl.
Yeah, and almost gets the thing all the way, but unable to do it. And Ume goes down again, getting picked so early. Captain down as well. This didn't even have to use the ult. We get 3 players down, and Fire Ants got their work cut out for them here. And
my guess is that they're going to regroup and maybe rush into that gambit that they got here, but they're going to have to be a little wary because, if they don't have that ult charge, they can be taken out very, very quickly if they don't have the ult advantage here.
Yeah,
so
lots of ults. Yeah, both teams going to have Cloak and Dagger if they want it, but they do get the DPS. Find a couple kills here, not having to use a lot of ults. Neither team chose to use them. And Poppy so low. Oh, really needed him there.
Hopefully they can get this thing. The thing goes down here. It'd be really important to keep them staggered going to this part of the map.
I would agree. You're gonna need to find.
81% from.
Ume's gonna have to find his way though, because he's getting picked out early. He's gonna have to be careful there. Captain's coming in with Captain, so let's see how that works.
Refine their rhythm here. Hopefully Ume can get that ult back up. Squirrel Girl coming out here. And Cloak and Dagger from and Punisher, a lot of ults here from A&M. Hopefully it'll be enough.
See Captain on that back line trying to make some plays as well. Couple players down.
Next here from King Rexel.
Captain really going deep in the back line there, but that's enough to push everybody out. And good take earlier, and then good hold from the Fire Ants.
100%.
I feel like, I don't know. I was gonna say ult economy slightly in the favor of Texas A&M, but not by much.
Yeah, I think the main thing is that we got to really work up our support ult again since we.
Yeah, I think Captain needs to have a very good flank here. He's got to find something on this back line. They do get Thing. That's going to be big. Thing going to need that ult to come back. Captain so low.
I think the hardest part about pushing into A&M is that Squirrel Girl is holding down that main corner, but now that A&M is off a point, it's a little hard to push in with that same Squirrel Girl. I think she's more of a whole type of character.
Yeah,
so
lots of ults coming in this next fight. Here it goes. Fire Ants don't have anything to counter, so this could be scary.
Maybe forced to use that gambit ult here. He's pushed up a point. Somebody gets a pick, but it's not enough to push in.
Phoenix ult. I don't know if that was good or bad. I can't tell. The fight's still going on, but I don't think it was the best at the moment. Maybe could have saved that for the retake, but
they're not gonna have enough time to portal here. It's gonna be very, very close, and they're really gonna have to use that gambit ult immediately. There we go. Ooh, gets canceled here, though, does it?
I'm not sure. Hard to say. Lots of ults coming out.
Oh, if it all comes out.
I don't know. Fire Ants are trying to fight this out. Trying to see who's on the point. 2 players did go down for the other side.
That Squirrel
But
Girl's
Fire
really need
Ants,
to go down here.
yeah, Fire Ants struggling at the moment to find it. Portal's coming in. That's going to be a problem. It did get Squirrel Girl, but
Cloak and Dagger's gonna need to ult here.
Fire Ants have a long way to go to get back to the point. Ayamoto comes out. Fire Ants trying to fight this. This is wild here. They just got...
Looks like getting some picks here. That's
Oh, that might be it. Nope, one more. Nope, they do take.
Can they hold it here?
Portal was already done. I think they got it. Oof. My, this is gonna be another tight one. This is gonna be another tight one tonight.
I would definitely say we were very lucky that A&M used that portal when they did. I just think that was such a good showcase of how important the strange portal can be, especially if you're not using it straight away. Because we had a very, very close call there. I thought they totally had that part of the map, but
30 seconds
things just changed so quickly as well. I would not be surprised if we see a Gambit ban next game. I think they might have to go for that instead of Invisible Woman. Or I think we're going to see Ume's tree get banned quite often. I think we're going to see a lot of Elsa bans in the next coming rounds.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see how they play this. I mean, obviously the first map, you go based on what you kind of learned and knew from the last time, as well as anything you can see on like profiles and stuff. But then you got to make those adjustments on the fly. And you are correct.
100%.
Some of those might happen. Wonder if Invisible Woman's going to get through though.
I highly doubt it. I think that she'll probably be the first to be banned unless it goes to Elsa for Ume. Captain's really rushing in here.
Ooh, that ult's already is crazy.
Seems to go down just as quick as it started. Gambit ult coming out from A&M here.
Yeah, couple ults going there. They still had some carried over, ready to go. Fire Ants got the.
Ume goes down, but they're able to push in.
Little bit of hits there.
Probably doesn't find anybody.
No, did get some damage in, I think. Cloak and Dagger coming in. Trying to keep up with the pace of this fight. Everybody's popping ults and going crazy. Lots of ults coming. Fire Ants got to be careful not to lose ults economy. And right now they are behind a little bit. By about 1.5.
Cloak Dagger's on the way, but it'll be really important to make sure we get Gambit's ult back up because that's a really strong ult to push in with. I don't think we've seen Sumter push into the Gambit ult. Ume ulting here to hold that A&M back off of the point. It almost goes down here.
Judge, jury,
Lots of ults coming out. Gonna try to keep them alive with Cloak and Dagger, but that's a full-time job. You expect a couple. Yeah, I expect a couple Fire Ants to go down there. Only one so far, though.
Still holding on. I've been going in the backline to see if he can get some of those picks, but doesn't seem to find any.
No, Fire Ants do lose another one, though.
He's pushing the Sumter and the Fire Ants back here, off of point. Captain on the flank again. Looks like he can get some picks here, but it looks like he's about to go down pretty quickly.
Yeah, Fire Ants need this ult coming in from Fabulator. Don't know if they're going to use it right away, but this Gambit and Gambit, you might see it go. There it goes.
There we go. Gambit on Gambit. Ult here. Captain all coming out. He gets the Squirrel Girl. Can he get a couple more picks? It'll be really crucial for them here.
Not really finding anybody
Didn't
else.
get anybody, yeah.
No.
It's like half the team went to push in with the Gambit up, and then half stayed back to get that Thor on their back line. And they seem to got a little mixed up here. You still have 2 DPS and 1 support ult, but the Fires are going to have to use it very strategically here because it might not be enough to get back on.
I think we got to have him Poppy come in huge. I would like to see his Storm again, but we got to see him Poppy come in huge here.
Need a ult here.
Does find him Poppy.
Done in Poppy.
Ay, ay, ay.
Huge ult here for every tree, but
Shiny not finding anybody either.
You'll have to keep fighting.
And Fire Ant's not necessarily in a good spot here.
I don't think they have enough time to strange portal either. Yeah, they need to get back onto point.
No,
Yeah,
unfortunately
oh,
they're.
and they lose the next part of the round.
Yeah, I'm just not seeing enough from their. I think it's just so hard for their support right now with that Invisible Woman ban.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. They're just not getting the same healing output that we would typically see with an Invisible Woman and Gambit or Invisible Woman and Cloak and Dagger. And so when you're stuck kind of playing Cloak and Dagger and Gambit, who while are both great
30
supports and
seconds
do
before you
a lot
attack.
of healing
Get
output, it's just
ready.
not going to be the same as Invisible Woman that has that consistent stream of output and healing. And so I think we're really seeing that Captain is staying low, Shiny's staying low, and they can't really make a move if both of the tanks are below half health. You know what I mean? I just think that we're seeing a Poppy and Ume go down so quickly, just they're getting picked off pretty easily. So I just think the Sumter needs to regroup, stay together, really take this first point by storm.
2, 1.
I agree, and
We're
Poppy
seeing
gonna
Poppy going Punisher.
gonna move off of that ultimate. I would maybe like to see him use it first, but they decide to pull back from that. Still would have liked to see that Storm in that last part of the map. It could have been kind of interesting, but we're gonna see
Captain
now the
on
Punisher.
backline again. That Thor's been causing a lot of issues for Sumter, especially in the
Captain
backline
low.
here. So
Get that ult though.
Really taking it by storm. I'd like to see it. Hopefully Captain can find another pick or 2. Shiny gets a pick. I'm with them Poppy here. And they captured the point.
Captain trying to get a stagger on Squirrel Girl. That would be nice.
Good stagger on Scroll Girl from Captain.
They do have 3 ultimates coming back to R1. Need that Gambit ult quickly.
Hopefully they can hold off on using all of their ults immediately, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I think they just cannot get staggered here, whatever happens.
I expect their ultimates to come in pretty quickly. Ooh, they almost got Thor. They do get Thor. It's a
Good
huge
pick
pick.
here. Really gonna need to see Ume maybe use his ult to hold off A&M.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to use it as soon as he gets it. That's normally what he does. And ultimate coming out. Squirrel Girl goes down though. And
Ult from Ume.
ult from Ume. Byron's going to try not to use any more.
But all coming out from A&M.
Gambit ult coming out from the Fire Ants. Eesh.
Get a ult from A&M. All ults coming out.
Yeah.
Fire Ants get down.
I was going to say, might have to have the Rex ult, but might be a little late there. 2 from Shiny, that's huge. And Poppy not quite back. Fire Ants trying to battle here on the point. Can they get this Squirrel Girl? They do.
Nice pick here from Ume.
Fire Ants might clear this up. And Poppy ults as soon as he gets there. Maybe he can find something else. Oh, just can't. I don't know if he needed to use that ultimate. It may have been the call though. You got to listen to your calls when they come out. So Fire Ant's still in there. Oh, I was gonna say Hulk. I thought that was
all the way at their spawn.
Yeah, I thought that was their actual ult, but it was not. Fire Ant's still in decent advantage with ultimates though. And Portal's down. This Hulk smash could be crazy if he can get there while they're still fighting. know though. May just hold it. Restart.
Somebody's
May.
probably gonna use this ult here.
Probably,
There
yep.
we go.
And Hulk Smash comes out as well.
Hopefully he can get a couple picks here. Oh, that doesn't seem to find that cloak and dagger.
No. Fire Ants maybe a little bit out of sync here. They do get 2 down though. What can they
Seems to be getting a
find?
lot of space back on
They're
the
starting to
point.
recap.
Hopefully it's off A&M.
And there's the recap. Into overtime. Somebody's up top.
Still got their gambit.
Yeah, here's that Gambit ult. Goes down. Solo ult. Fire Ants. Close it out. Holy crap.
Taking out the first
Map number 1. That was a tough match.
Yeah, definitely had me on the edge of my seat. Yeah, very interesting final round. Sumter really just sort of locked in there and took that map by storm. Captain MVP. Love to see it. See these stats, I'll be a little inclined to see how it goes. Obviously, Sumter coming in
overall.
with a lot more healing output, but the biggest thing I noticed is that towards the end, we had a lot of success with as a team. Not only were they working together way better, but we had Poppy switch to Punisher, which is just an incredible pick for that part of the map, and a good pick overall for Poppy there. Yeah, those are some small things I noticed. What did you notice about this map in like the first round, and what do you think we can see and to expect going into the next round and the next map?
I mean, overall, it was really close, really tight. Good round to Texas A&M there. Again, like I said, we 3-0'd them last time, but I couldn't remember if it was close. And seeing them now, I feel like the more and more I see them, the more and more I remember playing them. I'm excited to see what they do with pick bans here. What do they let through? What do they take away? I guess Fire Ants are gonna get the first ban this time. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but it will be interesting overall to kind of see how it plays out. They definitely played the third point smoother than
For sure.
the second and first, so it's like they figured out kind of exactly how they wanted to do it. So
I definitely think we see the first round is always so interesting because I think Domination is such a funny map because it has no payload where, Convergence and Convoy obviously do. So I think it's just so interesting to start on because it's very offensive heavy. There's not like a ton of defense on those types of maps besides, like holding point. And so I think it's always a little tricky to get the hang of things, but Sumter definitely got the hang of it on that third round of that map. And the biggest thing I will say is bans and picks here might look a little different. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Squirrel Girl ban come out from South Carolina Sumter solely because it was just doing so much damage output towards Sumter and made it really difficult for them to push in, when you have a bunch of things being thrown at you by their DPS player. So I think we might see that come out. I'll be a little interested to see if Invisible Woman still gets banned. And I definitely don't think we're going to see a Moon Knight ban or things like that. Maybe Penny will come back out here. But those are just some things that I'm guessing we'll see change in the bans of the picks. But
yeah, it's
never know
definitely
until we
going to
see it
be
going to the
interesting.
second round. For sure. Definitely giving Sumter a little bit of trouble and a run for their money heading into this finals. So
Yeah, gonna be interesting, and it could go either way. And gonna need to see how this plays out. Got 13 viewers in the chat. Looks like got a lot of people from trying to see who else here. Godster, more walkers, the Dolly Lady, Arista, Poofart, Smoke, or Stop Looking at Me. All kinds of people in here. We appreciate you watching. If you haven't liked, please do subscribe if you can. Maybe that Amazon Prime sub, that'd be cool. But either way, don't have to do that. Just thanks for being here. But yeah, gonna be interesting. We should be kicking into map number 2 at any moment. Fire Ants at the lead 1-0. Tough matchup though in the first map. Pick band's really gonna tell us where we go from here. What would
Yeah, I think that's huge. I just completely agree with you. I think bans and picks. I think when we first started playing this game last season, it was sort of not as important. I mean, there's a couple characters like if they got banned, it really was terrible. But now there's so many new characters and so many ways to play rivals. I think in the past year, that's become a way bigger part of the competitive space as well.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying, and I think it's gonna be interesting. What do you think the first ban is from both sides?
I think we're gonna see from Sumter either our usual bans, so like we usually ban Hella. I think we might see that come out. Maybe a Squirrel Girl. I think that gave us a little bit of trouble, or a Thor. Thor really kept getting to our backline, and so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw just a heavy no Thor ban straight from Sumter. And I think from I think we're going to either keep that invisible ban, or they might do something to go against. Specifically, we've seen it a lot, Ume or Captain. They're the ones usually getting the most picks. I wouldn't say overall that, and Poppy or Shiny aren't doing as much like DPS. They are doing the same amount, but I can really find that Captain and Ume have a habit of getting on that backline and staying annoying. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see either an Invisible Woman or like a Hulk come out from A&M here for the about this map. I love Midtown, especially on Convoy. So I think we're going to see some very interesting characters come out because you can play a lot of really fun flank on this map. Invisible Woman banned straight out the gate.
Another
I'm
penny.
still a little surprised at this penny, honestly, but
It must be something they know about the other team that we don't. Saving the Hulk. Interesting. Might get Ume banned here.
also Bloodstone's save here from A&M.
Very
Looks like you don't
interesting.
even need to worry about it. Yeah. I didn't really see them playing a lot of that last
Because
round.
didn't we save that last round? So that gives us a save back.
Yeah.
Ooh, the Storm
Storm
ban.
ban.
Yeah, I really like Poppy's Storm. So the Rocket ban, okay. Let's
I wouldn't
see.
be surprised if we're going mainly off of map, because obviously Storm is really good on this map, Penny is really good on this map, especially on Convoy. So maybe they're just going from like, we're gonna deal with characters that don't work as well on this map, and we're gonna just go with that. But definitely, I would not expect a Storm ban over an Elsa Bloodstone ban. Gambit save here makes sense.
You think we see a Squirrel Grower ban for the last ban if they don't save her here?
I think we're either gonna see a Hella ban or a Moon Knight ban. I think they're just both a little bit stronger. I think, you know, Squirrel Girl's obviously super strong on this map as well.
Save.
But I don't think she was causing a lot of issues as much as, you know, Thor maybe would have.
Right.
Magneto ban.
Maybe they ban Thor here.
Rough. Yeah. I just think anything that messes up Sumter's backline is no good, and they really like to make sure that obviously King Rexel and Fat Orbulator can do what they need to do to keep those support up. Squirrel Girl ban here, yeah.
You'll need a top-notch team to
Interesting.
win this one.
Ooh, a Moon Knight. Ooh, a Wanda. A Wanda and a Moon Knight or something going on with that Hella. Mixed in with the Hella.
Very interesting sort of team comp here, but we got Shiny on Groot. I think Groot's great on this map too. So nothing too crazy.
Right.
30 seconds before you attack. Get
Gonna
ready.
be interesting to see. We let they're almost the same setup for us, minus the group. But a little bit definitely different from the other side.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting that they're not running any shields. I think that might pose to be an issue. They're running very, very like heavy flank of A&M is, so we're gonna see a thing in a rogue. I think they're just going to try to be as obnoxious to our backline as humanly possible. Just watching out for that number 2 since it'll be hard to flank. Pushing up here.
I thought that was a pick early. Close, but not quite.
There's no more turrets being a little annoying here.
Yeah, they're gonna try to take advantage of this space with one player down. See what the Fire Ants can do.
Captain's gonna need to maybe get a pick here on their backline because they're just walking it up at the moment.
Yeah. There they are. Captain Solo.
They're really
Does
fine
get up. Groot going down. Hey.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Captain going down here too.
Still not sure if Punisher's it. Not bad, but I don't know. Maybe not enough high ground in that situation for Punisher to find somebody. But Fire Ant's backing off. It looks like he's getting a lot of players low, but just not able to finish them off. Obviously, Ultimate can completely change that too.
100%, and they just A&M just seems to walk it up, already getting past to the first point, checkpoint here.
Yeah, Fire Ants didn't give a lot of hold there, did they?
No, I don't know if we need that ult there from Ume. I mean, they're only so far in. But maybe this is kind of there. Gambit ult coming out here from both sides. Sumter able to get a couple.
Do find a couple here. Rogue ulting.
Hulk ult too. A lot of ults coming out from either side.
Fire's not having to use their support, but they can't find these pigs. They're so close. Just not able to find them. Can they get this thing here?
Finish off this like damage. They're doing so much, but just can't find anything.
They are struggling here.
I'm a Frost coming out here from Shiny.
Poppy's got to come up huge here. Make sure he doesn't get this picked as a sitting duck. They do take out a couple. And that's a lot for the Fire Ants to stop there, but...
And that Gambit's a little staggered now too, working out for the best.
Yeah, ultimates.
A lot of ults on both sides.
Yes.
Pretty low.
Yeah, I think the favor's slightly on the other side, but...
You have to watch out for that Hella ult, especially with no support ult to counter it.
I would agree. Gonna have to find her quickly. Maybe Ume can get his ult and find her. They do get a good pick.
There we go. I think we're gonna see an Ume ult here in a minute. There we go.
And there's a good one from Ume. They do find a few more. This choke point's looking good for the Fire Ants right now. Way better than the second one.
For sure. I really like that Ume uses his ult very quickly. I think it works out the best, especially because Elsa recharges so quickly for her.
Yeah.
It's just better to use it and save it.
Yeah, gonna have two ultimates coming back from the other side here. I expect them both to come out. 2.5 minutes almost on the board.
I think they're gonna lead with the more and then maybe back up with the Hella. There we go. Hello, actually first.
Ooh, they get her
immediately.
down, almost. And multiple players going down. Yeah, it's gonna be a reset. Try not to make it more than that and get staggered too much. They do have a Gambit ult, both teams. But man, they've got ultimates kind of coming both ways here. Here's the Gambit ult.
Both Gambit ults coming out here. Is Sumter gets the pick on the thing?
Looking like they're getting more of
There we go. Good ult from Poppy.
trying to find some. And not able to find that Rogue. Rogue does finally go down.
And Poppy just keeps getting him low, but can't seem to get those final hits.
Yeah, I agree. They need to find this pick here.
We need a couple staggers. Especially on that thing.
Oh, not the best ult there from Ume.
You're gonna have to wander back on the point pretty quickly. We have an ult here, an ult for 2 on the side of Sumter.
Oh, can hope find one. He does.
Hopefully that can force out another ult from A&M. There we go.
Nice there from the Fire Ants. They're holding well in this little choke point here. I don't even know where the card is.
It is all the way in the back.
Yeah, I just keep like not able to see it very much, but there it is. Fire Ants playing in this spot. Lots of ultimates coming out. Poke a dagger. Maybe not enough. Yeah. Ay, Fire Ants. Lots of ults coming out though from the other side, which could help the Fire Ants in the retake after this. They should be able to do another hold here. They do have Moon Knight ult,
see an
though.
Emma Frost and a Punisher ult come out from Sumter. Hopefully that Morbulator can get that recharge very quickly.
This could be a issue here. A little bit of a stagger maybe. Ooh, can they get the Moon Knight? They do find the Moon Knight. That's huge. And Poppy goes down though. That's unfortunate. What can the Fire Ants find? Fabulator really needs to get it. If they could get it, there's the Gambit ult. Huge. Gonna be huge for them. Overtime is in. Poppy did ult, I guess. I don't know. They do
Yeah,
find
Ume's
one.
right there ready to die. There we go. Hopefully getting that stagger 2 down.
Ume's gonna
Get
ult
that
here.
thing.
Doesn't need to, actually. Maybe he
There we go.
does. Gonna get that ult. There's the overtime stop. Woo. Right
There we go.
before getting to the second point.
Is 0, 2, 1.
Whew. Good hold there.
Time to switch things up, including which side you're on.
There we go. I'm glad they pushed into overtime.
The top-notch team.
Thank God it did not go past that second choke point. Oh, looks like we might see that tank pull come out from the Aggies here. I think it's really good. I don't mind Poppy playing Punisher. I think he's doing a lot of really good damage output. They just gotta really work together to make sure they're focusing the same people because they're doing a lot of damage. It's just being too spread out between players, and they can't seem to get anybody down. Is the only thing I would say from
Yeah.
Sumter. And I would have really liked them not to have let the Aggies walk up from that first point, that first part of the map. Just let them pretty much walk it all the way up into the second checkpoint. But I think we're gonna have a really good push heading into the second part of the map.
Yeah, hopefully so. And looks like got a shout out in the chat for Izzy.
Get ready.
Loving the shout casting.
Love to see it. Thank you guys.
And
Definitely, I love doing this for sure. Not something I ever expected. I think when I visited the Fire Ants, it was sort of a last minute thing, but it's been probably one of my favorite things I have done relating to esports. Might even take the cake over coaching for me.
well, we like to hear that. That's for sure.
4, 3.
And
Looks like we're heading towards the right. A very interesting sort of push. I know they're heading straight out. Captain looking for those picks, getting on the flank pretty much immediately.
oh,
Getting off the high ground.
gets knocked down.
Goes
Gets
down
healed
here.
up though. And Byron's playing really well right now. They've just got to get moving in this fight. And
Poppy
see,
on the more.
yeah, and the more this time, throwing sharks at people.
Better than Captain beating up.
Yeah, beating up the shark. Yeah. One goes down. Let's see.
That thing and the thing goes down there.
Ult came out quickly, but Byron's able to withstand it.
Careful. They're all staying pretty grouped.
Yeah, and
Kind of hard for
Captain's gonna love that. I like Ume on Hella as well, especially when they're staying grouped like this. Is gonna be interesting when he gets an ultimate. Captain just loving it right now. Needs to get healed though.
Yeah, I think it's just a little hard. They're a little group, so you can't really find those exact pictures.
Ah, Moon Knight's gonna be tough there. Byron's may try to regain here. Yeah, they're gonna have to reset, I think. When Captain went down, that kind of took him out.
Get that vehicle moving again.
But Byron's got lots of ults to go into this fight. They can choose how they want to go. I say try to get a pick, maybe.
And more. Yeah, after a pick. I want to see those two. There we go. Almost every ult coming up here for the Fire Ants.
I don't know if we needed that many, but we'll take it. Gotta find some worth out of it, though.
Ume's not really finding anybody.
No, I think I would have liked to see the hell of hold there, maybe. But Byron's didn't get much out of that, did they? Two
I
went
think we
down
tried
early.
to group to Namor ult together, which is always a great strategy to ult together, but didn't seem to just get anybody.
No.
Now, Anna has a very strong ult lead here.
Yeah, it's not looking good there when it comes to ult advantage. You'll probably see
Come on,
pull
Captain, get
something out.
Ooh, gets solo.
Yeah.
Supports go down from the Fire Ants.
Hey. Would have liked to see King Rexel ult maybe at the same time. I still don't know if it would have been enough for him to be saved, and maybe just gonna have to go through that ultimate kind of fight. And Fire Ants really need to find something here as we're going into the next part.
Even Magneto's throwing them off. I would maybe like to see Shiny get Strange instead of Emma. Get a little more shields. Pushing into his King Rex is oh, but then again, just counters it with another ult.
Yeah. Fire Ant's going down. And Poppy not finding his way right now. They do get one.
Wigging two.
Ome gonna try to find his ult. That's a good ult. But he's gonna go down. And Poppy not really finding his way tonight right now with this champ pool and selection. He's gonna be super low here and go down. Fire Ant's gotta figure this out. 10 seconds left. They are on the payload.
Staggering.
Yeah, they do have a Gambit ult and a Shiny.
Bit all here from Emma, trying to get them off the plane.
And nobody got Thing though. He was so low, but nobody got him.
Ooh, and that portal might cause a little bit of issues. Nice. Good team wipe here from USC Sumter.
Thing very low. They might find Thing. They did not. Oh, they did.
There we go.
Got 2
The
minutes
main
back.
issue is they were support ulting at the same time that A&M is support ulting, and so it just kind of cancels each other out.
Yeah, counters out.
So hopefully we can stagger the support.
Looking like they're in a better position ultimate-wise, but we got to use it wisely. And in Poppy, need to have a huge ult here. Captain gonna try to get on the back line with Captain. Let's see how it goes. I do like
Captain
his
ult here.
huge ult, maybe. Fabulator sending it in. They're gonna find a bunch. What can Poppy find? Can he focus his ultimate and find somebody? He does get one.
Gets this thing. Gets
two.
two here.
They used a lot there, but they got 2 more in their back pocket. Ume ulting, but it didn't matter. Oh wow, we were right there. I didn't even realize we were that close. I thought we had another turn to go, like another corner. Oh man, Fire Ants closed it out right there without me even noticing. Did you notice that?
I was mainly focusing on what the captain was doing on the back line. I wasn't really paying attention. Okay,
Yeah.
King Rexel MVP here. We'd love to see a support MVP.
Yeah, for sure. And Fire Ants right there. Close out map number 2, 2-1. Big deal there.
I was a little shocked with that hold. I was just not even paying attention. We just walked it up to point so quickly after that first hold. Obviously, Fire is doing a lot of healing output, a lot of things like that. Ume, I really liked on that Moon Knight. That Moon Knight swap was pretty crucial for advancing the payload as well, or the convoy as it was. What did you notice like about that last part of the map? I mean, it was incredible play. Pretty much just walked it straight to point.
Yeah, I mean, they won that ultimate battle right there. As far as, I think we used 3 right there at the end, but I thought we still had like a little bit of ways to go, but that was enough to clear them out, and then just kind of staggered them after that. It was a really good, hold to stop them where they did on the offense, or on the defense, and then on the offense right there, staggered a little bit in the beginning. But kind of once they passed that second point, they just won the team fights that they needed to win to get moving forward. So Fire is 1 win away from closing this out with a championship victory. And not sure if we've got a hold up in this or not, but we're going to wait and see what
Hopefully
map.
maybe a little bit of hold up.
Yeah, hopefully a little bit.
Microphone out. I think you can
Yeah,
fix it, but-
hopefully a little bit, but also figure out what map. But while we do that, let's take a break. Let you get things situated. I'll get another thing of water, and we'll be moving forward.
We'll be
So,
right back.
Be right back.
See ya.
And we are igniting the time stream for round number 3. We are back live with this esports championship in PCL. Fire Ants up 2-0 in the series, but they've been tight matches so far, tight maps. Going into map number 3, what do you expect to see here, Izzy?
We're going to keep seeing that Invisible Woman ban. I think that's going to be a huge part of this. I think, obviously straight away, I wouldn't be surprised if we keep that Squirrel Girl ban. I think they'll remain relatively similar for the first part of it, but I think we might see Ume here get Elsa Bloodstone banned, honestly. Or, and again, another Captain America or some type of Captain ban on his characters. So that's what I'm expecting. I'll be a little interested to see how A&M goes from here. They're saving Tank Pool again. A little interesting. I don't think
Fire Ants were going to ban that.
No. Very interesting, but if they need it to go into this next round, you know.
Dragon Johnny calling out, give no quarter. Fair enough. Lots of people cheering in the chat. Thank you all for being here.
Elsa Blitzstone ban, yeah. Makes sense.
Dear Vonnie is the one that was Izzy's fan for the shoutcasting. Dolly Lady Seahorse. Dragon Johnny, thanks for being here. And save of the Magneto.
I'm not surprised we're seeing that save. I think that like I said, I think that was sort of the downfall of Sumter last round. I mentioned that if Shiny had Magneto instead of Emma, I think we'd be a lot more successful. So
yeah, maybe being able to focus that target ultimate.
Yeah, and also I think it's the shields. I think shields help just a lot in Rivals. I just don't think no character does it quite like Magneto. I think Strange is kind of close, but Magneto is just so strong as a tank. Storm ban here, Squirrel Girl save. Not surprised coming out of the Aggies here, and then a hella ban. Overall, not too bad. Very typical, but
that Storm ban again. I never get to see Storm. I just want to see Storm.
Just want to have him Poppy play him just one more time. I definitely think these bans are very typical, but I think the main thing that I'm focused on is that A&M is really sticking to their guns here, really knowing what they're good at. That Squirrel Girl, that Tank Pool, all of that. And so they're really going to be focusing on making sure that Captain goes down, and obviously Ume and Tribordulator. I think those are the top 3 we're seeing get banned quite often, or just supports in general too.
And Fire Ants taking defense first, so they can have a lot of ideas of what's to come for when they go on to attack.
I wouldn't know.
Sweet.
100%.
I fight to hurt people. I fight to heal.
Well, when I'm done here, you'll have plenty of folks to heal. Trust me.
Something tells me I should start with you. The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
Straight out the gate here, just holding high ground.
On your toes.
Yep, sorry. A little bit off there on switching around.
But still on Moon Knight.
Yeah, gonna have that ultimate quickly too. Here comes that Hulk, gonna try to find that back line. Gets a little bit of hits, backs out.
Counter turret here. It's doing a lot of damage. Door goes down.
Find that door. Ume goes down too though.
Even that Magneto shield is real nice for this round.
Would agree. When Poppy goes down, they're gonna try to take this space, I believe. If I had to guess, Ume's gonna need to get that ultimate soon so he can at least use it to clear him off, and that might be enough for them to get in here.
I wonder if we're going to see a strange portal to point here. I don't think we will. I think we're just going to see them regroup.
Yeah, not the best hold from the Fire Ants. Gonna give there without trying to go after it.
You need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
Just ended up getting picked a little bit there too quickly between our DPSs. But here we go.
Yeah, the Aggies definitely know their strength. They're definitely picking maps in their favor too, especially with their playstyle.
Big ult coming in. Let's see if Captain can find something off of that Ume ult. He does find one, and Poppy finds another. That's big from the Fire Ants. That puts them into some ult areas. They're not using theirs from the other side yet either.
Sam definitely has the ult advantage, but I'm not seeing anything come out just yet. I think we're gonna see a Gambit ult come out. Hulk ult.
They gotta find the pick here.
Pick
They
it.
do. Only needed to use the Hulk ult. Didn't need to use anything else. That's gonna be big. I was wondering if they were gonna use the Magneto on the Hulk there, but they did not.
I think they're gonna probably try to save that for the Cloak and Dagger ult. But I had to guess.
Door playing patiently, trying to get on that back line. Irons do have to be careful with that. Lots of ultimates gonna be coming out here, I think. Irons need to be careful.
That ult. Gambit ult coming
Their
out
ult.
here. Two support ults coming out. You have to watch
May
out for
going
that.
down, or sorry, and Poppy going down early in that fight. Not what you want to see.
Soldier still has ult. Look, Squirgle ult coming out here. It's not the best time. If they can get that Thor. Thor goes down. I think Captain could pretty much just go play with their back line.
Yeah, I mean, the Fire Ants withheld that a lot better than I thought they might. As many ults that were used, it was kind of crazy. Hulk's gonna have his ult very soon and almost a stagger all the way back to the point. I really don't think Texas A&M got as much value out of that as they probably thought they would. That was like 4 ults that they used, I believe.
Definitely think they just didn't end up playing them really smart. I think Sumter stacking Gambit and Cloak and Dagger actually worked out for the best for them.
Yeah, they did stagger the Gambit ult versus the other ult too, so it gave them a little bit of time differently there maybe.
100%. That's exactly what I was mentioning. Using them at the same time didn't work out for the team because it was just getting immediately countered by the other team's support ult.
And Poppy just has to be careful here not to go down. Ooh, nice.
Still
Find
really
the
great.
kill. Does go down though. Ooh, Captain, gotta be careful here. Yikes. Kinda got picked out there. Obviously gonna be Gambit ulting. Fire Ants may go down here. Gonna back out a little bit. Given a little bit of space. Got another minute 40 to hold. Feels like Moon Knight took forever to come back up.
We got a couple ults almost out. Both supports are almost here.
Tabulator goes down. Not good.
Hold this here.
Might need this Rexel hold.
Ult from King Rexel. He does not get hit by the Magneto ult. Ooh,
Nice
trying to get the good.
from Shiny and Poppy cleaning it up. That's a huge team wipe. Well played there from Fire. Still got a couple ultimates too.
Yeah. I thought we were gonna have to see a Gambit ult come out from Sumter here, but
Step lightly. Might be more onks.
trying to hold the other team.
Good hold.
Dagger ult. Hem comes out. Gambit ult here from Sumter.
Poppy just has to not get too far in there. Don't want to get himself caught out. They need to make sure they heal him up. He does find it.
Okay,
Good job there from Poppy and the others. Woo. I thought Poppy was maybe going to get too close in there into the fight. Maybe get picked off, but good job there.
hopefully they can hold it. They don't really have a ton of ults. They've got captains on the way, but they definitely do have the ult advantage here.
Man, they took out
Pick it from
that
the top.
thing right away. Ultimate's coming in like crazy. Let's see what this Hulk's gonna do with his at the end. They already got him into overtime. He's trying to push him even farther. That's gonna be another there.
Daggers. Not even letting them touch that point.
That's it.
That's gonna be a
For
wrap
the
on the
hold.
first round.
But Fire Ants still got some work to do to get there.
Time to switch things up.
100%. I think we're just gonna have to really watch, make sure we're still grouped.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
See, I'll be interested to see how obviously A&M changes here, because this is like the last map. If they don't win, you know, this part of it, it will just be a 3-0 game. So they kind of have to play their hand here, switch up what they want to switch up. It's sort of like the last push, the last stitch ever, I feel like. So I think we're going to see a huge switch up from A&M here, probably in terms of characters and play style. As we can see, they already see a tank pool coming out, as well as a white fox. They're running a 3 support setup, it looks like. So definitely a huge change.
30 seconds before you attack.
3 support, 3
Get
tank,
ready.
it looks like coming out.
It's my sworn duty to protect travelers in the night.
Yeah.
Looks like we'll just have to see.
We'd make a good team. If you ever decide to ditch that dagger chick, let me
Goal
know.
and my hope is that Ume can get some picks pretty early with Moon Knight, and they can sort of use his ult to just push onto
The
that
battle
point.
starts in
That's
5,
that's the hope.
4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Looks like we are heading in here.
Dracula's here? Good. That blood-sucking nerd owes me big.
And
And
immediately
Fire Ants just have to get just a little bit farther than Texas A&M.
luckily they don't have to make it past that point.
That
But
Deadpool's gonna have his ultimate very fast here.
looks like Mike coming out already. Second.
Ooh, they do get the Thor.
Three.
Here comes that ultimate.
Ooh.
It's gonna put
Everything's
Fabulator
down.
down.
Then that leaves A&M pretty low.
Kind of spread out fights all over the place right now. Poppy goes down. Shiny kind of just doing things on point. Hulk
Oh, here.
coming in. Try to make some hits here.
You're
They
kind
do
of right.
find
There's kind of
two.
fights everywhere.
Yeah, there's fights like everybody's separated. It's kind of weird right now. Now they're finally starting to able to focus up on targets. Hulk just doing Hulk things. You know, I would tell you, playing against Captain, I would hate it. Like, I would probably rage so much.
Yeah.
Having
Oh,
somebody
that's so
constantly on top of me like that.
Yeah, I think that's what just works so well for Sumter. Captain is always in that back line.
And ooh, they almost find Duncan, but they do not get him. But that was a good hold by Texas A&M there. Don't know how long it's gonna hold. Let's hopefully hope it doesn't very long. But they do use Portal to get there.
Help get that vehicle to its
Route. They
destination.
moved it to the convoy. part of
5
the map
ultimates on the board for the Fire Ants too. But a lot coming up for A&M as well.
now. Mhm. They're running a 3 support, 3 tank setup, but those are none of the supports that the tanks I'd really use for that combo, I feel like. So it'll be very interesting to see what they do with it here. Sort of walking it up right now. Robot coming out here. Goes down just as quick as it got started. But all coming out here, and it's Captain America. Captain all here, and not Captain America.
Us against the world.
A lot of ults coming out here from Sumter.
Yeah, just tons everywhere. Sorry I didn't get all of them.
Holding on to that ult.
They're so
Shiny.
close. Getting so close.
They'll walk it up here. I would have liked to see them save a support ult for this last push.
Oh my. Here comes theirs. think that was what Magneto was waiting for his for, and this is the
Here we
last
go.
chance fight. This could be it for the championship. This could be the last fight, and the Fire Ants are winning it and closing it.
Range goes down, closing it out for the championship game.
2, 1.
Awesome. I know they're pumped. I know they're happy. Huge win for the Fire Ants. This team, I think, made it to the... Didn't we make it to the finals last semester? And
Yep.
didn't get the win they wanted there. They pushed to another finals in a different league this semester. Everybody wanted to play in this league together. They just wanted to play as a group. That's all they cared about. And they came in this season and put in the work. And again, this team's just something to be super proud of. They work together. They work through it. Lots of hands off with this team. Don't really have to give them a lot of input on what they need to be doing on a regular basis. They pull it off and get it done. And you can see here that they worked hard to make sure that they got there. Honestly, I thought that was a little bit closer than what this stat line looks like. But Fire Ant's going to take the win. Ume getting MVP there. And Izzy, what do you think?
I mean, I don't want to repeat and sound like a broken record of the things I always say with this team. But I would definitely say the biggest thing I think I've noticed, especially this last game, is the teamwork. I think from what I've done shoutcasting wise and what I've noticed is that before in our previous seasons, we've sort of seen a lot of like one player being really strong or like the supports being very strong or the tanks being very strong. But this past season, especially this last game, it just felt like every single player was like a part of this huge whole, and they just functioned so well as a team. And there's something to be said about their mindset and their gameplay and all of that. And I cannot think of a team that has not worked only so hard for this championship win, but also that just deserve it. They're a great group, and I'm very excited to see what they're going to accomplish heading into even the next season. But I know it's definitely a little bit of a league switch for them, but they've just handled everything like such champs. And this was a great victory, 3-0 against Texas A&M. Great game for them. They've had a really, really strong hold, especially in that last round on the last map. But no, it was just great to see overall.
Yeah, I would say maybe USC Sumter even had the harder side of the bracket coming off of Gustavus last week in a crazy matchup there, going to map number 5 and then closing it out tonight 3-0. But Texas A&M came to play and had their chances as well. But Fire Ants just able to pull it off. A couple specific plays, couple setups, just a little too much for them to handle. And Fire Ants close the door, win their first championship in Marvel Rivals. So today was championship day. We won championship in Fortnite and here in Marvel Rivals. So huge W's for the Fire Ants today. USC Sumter doing big things, and proud of all the players from both teams. And I don't know, not really much more to say than that, except GG's goes out to Texas A&M and Wallace State earlier that we played in Fortnite. And thanks for all the viewers in the chat. We really appreciate you being here and supporting the Fire Ants all season long. Fortnite and Marvel Rivals comes to a close now, and they will go into the off season, but as victors and champions. So that's awesome for them, awesome for the program. And anybody that's watching, thank you for being here, and we appreciate you. And tell all your family and friends about the Fire Ants. If anybody's interested, always hit us up. And yeah, just glad to be here. Glad to have that off our back, and now feeling good about the victory. Izzy, anything to close out? This is also your last stream potentially for us, at least for a little while. Maybe later on in college we'll get you back on sometime as a guest, but got anything to say?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's been a great experience. I've absolutely loved doing this. I have learned probably so much more than I could have ever imagined from this team specifically. I'm maybe a little biased just because I know so many of the players personally. They've helped out for me, like with charity and all this great stuff. And so it's amazing to see my final stream and the final game in the championship game this season have a lot of wins, because I know all of the players just are so amazing. And this has been just an amazing opportunity for me, and Sumter's just so amazing. So amazing. A really great final game for me. That's all I really have to say. It's just been a great experience, and I've been so happy to be here.
Well, and we're glad to have you for sure. And we're glad to have everybody that's been watching and glad to have the players that we have. And we're going to close this one out here from the Anthill. But everybody, you have a great night, and we appreciate all the support. We'll be back on stream tomorrow, though, I believe, with some Call of Duty 4v4 action. Then later in the week, we'll have Valorant in a championship match on Thursday. And then USC Sumter also in a match on Friday well, tomorrow's match is a championship match in a super regional for 4v4. Then Thursday is a championship match in Valorant. Friday we have a championship match in Warzone. That's the super regional, and then also we have a third place match in the super regional that determines whether they go to nationals or not for another 4v4 team. So lots of things still going on with playoffs, but we still got a couple teams left in it. Couple close it out as victors, and a couple more still trying to make their way. So that's going to be it from the Anthill. This is Coach Chris.
This is Izzy signing out.
Y'all have a good night.
Everyone.